I learned humility from TobyMac. I learned humility from a guy named Gabe Patillo, who's no longer with us, but he was right hand to Toby, and I watched them, and I was like, man, humility and hunger like pushes us. Because if you have hunger and no humility, you're a jerk sometimes.
Look at the organization you lead. Hunger,
Yeah,
humility.
I know, wow.
Dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think about that. Yeah. So there was a culture of just like hungry, but there was a humility along with that too. Humble and hungry at the same time. I think that's really what I think sustained and promoted his success, and I was just following him in that.
This episode is brought to you by ELS Nashville and one of their newest innovations, the ELS Show Shuttle. If you work live events, you know the struggle. Heavy, bulky road cases, wasted space, and time lost trying to move gear efficiently. That's why they built the Show Shuttle, a sleek modular cart system designed to move your rig faster, cleaner, and smarter. More than a cart, it's a platform. With modular attachments and the first shock-mounted pipe system for lights, the Show Shuttle changes the game. One platform, endless uses. The Show Shuttle is designed to move whatever your show throws at it. Not just lighting, but the full rig. Learn more at fabrication.elsnashville.com. The countdown is over. Crews everywhere are boarding the Show Shuttle. Welcome to the Gigs Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Sands, founder and CEO of Gigs, the professional career platform for the live event industry. In this podcast, we are talking to the very best in the touring and live event industry to hear the good, bad, ugly, and unreal moments of life gigging and lessons learned on the road. Today, we have Ryan Lampa with us. He spent 18 years touring the world with many artists, most notably TobyMac, and about 17 years ago, his missions began to shift. Ryan is the founder and CEO of People Loving Nashville, one of the most impactful homeless outreach organizations in the city. It started with 5 meals and a simple prayer: God, teach me how to love people. 17 years later, PLN has never missed a Monday night, feeding over 800 people every week, and they have helped over 150 individuals find housing. Most recently opened up a coffee shop downtown called Paradeisos, staffed by formerly unhoused neighbors. His story is proof that showing up every week can really change everything. So Ryan, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Gigs Podcast.
Yeah.
So got to meet you through Mark Oglesby, who's the best. And he's like, y'all got to talk.
The best.
We sat down, we're talking. And as we were just, I think I probably started crying at some point. I was like, I got to get a microphone in front of you. I need you to come on this podcast.
It's awesome.
So there's so much to go into, but I want to start with, you toured for nearly 2 decades.
Yeah.
What got you on the road?
Yeah.
And let's talk, I want to hear that story first.
Totally. So, okay, I was in high school. My sister, Rachel Lampa, she's a singer. She got a record deal, and we're like, oh, that's fun and that's cool. And then she hit the road, and we're like, oh, this is for real. I remember when her CD came in the mail, we're like, oh, this is really for real. You know, like we were just, she's my little sister. You know, we have 4 kids in our family, and we just joked around like, oh, yeah, this is a real thing. And as time went by, you know, I graduated high school, signed up to go to college in my hometown. And Rachel's manager said, hey, do you want to road manage your sister? And I said, sure. What's that? And he said, oh, it's super easy. You know, you just make sure she gets on stage on time, make sure you set up her merchandise, and make sure she can use this brand new technology called in-ear monitors.
Whoa.
So I was like, that's easy. Like those 3 jobs, let me just do it for the summer. Turns out there's a little bit more to that, you know? So jumped out on the road, learned a lot of things. Like it costs more money to book flights like right before you leave than like, you know, planning that out ahead of time. I didn't know. I was 18, had no idea. So lots of different things. Rental cars, you have to be a certain age, you know, all that stuff. So I just jumped on the road with her, and then loved it, and then tried to do traveling with her and like online schooling in 2001 at the same time. Terrible idea. I mean, 2001 online schooling is like, I mean, my laptop was like already this thick, you know,
dude.
like this is not going to work. And I was like, college, whatever. And so tossed that and just jumped out touring full time. So I toured with Rachel.
Were you in a van, a bus?
So we were a little spoiled at the beginning, like definitely like not where we didn't rough it at the beginning. I mean, it was rough, but we were on buses normally. But yeah, we jump in the van once in a while. Now, when I moved to Nashville, I would have friends that would say, hey, can you jump out with us? And totally paid my dues in the van and trailer, did that thing.
Good.
Tons of really fun memories with that. So I have paid my dues for sure.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, it was like buses and planes and just jumping all over the room. Yeah. And so Cut
What
My
kind of
Tea
music was she doing?
So she was Christian
Okay,
music.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So she's an amazing singer, and
fabulous.
we just, she was just doing tracks at the beginning.
Yeah.
I totally faked it as her front of house engineer because I was a DJ in high school.
Oh my gosh.
So I just did like homecomings and bar mitzvahs and stuff and weddings, and I knew basic EQ. So I just was like, yeah, I'm a front of house engineer, and I totally botched some things for sure early on in that career, especially when we brought a full band and we're like, okay, it's a little harder than just stereo tracks and a vocal.
So you were road manager / merch /
totally
brother
everything.
/ audio,
Totally.
like front of house. Okay.
Yes. And I, at the beginning, it's like I was young enough, I was like 18, 19 years old. And I'm like, how much does it cost to like live? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. At the time, this is 2001, like Christian music was in a really interesting, it was booming. It was a really interesting place. The label just gave us a credit card and said, hey, live. Wow. And I was like, what do you mean live? Like, okay, food and hotels. And we just kind of scanned the credit card. Turns out it's all recoupable. Like we got to pay this back. But like, again, I was 18 years old. She was 16. We had no idea. So we lived in every hotel in this downtown area. Now, back in 2001, it was only a handful of hotels that were like worth staying in. So we would live in those. And then just living in town, though, you're like, hey, can you jump on this gig? Can you jump on that gig?
Yeah.
So really just learned on the go. And I never said no. Never like, they're like, hey, can you be, so like Compassion International, like tour sponsors. Like, hey, we need a representative for that on the tour. Can you like double as that? I was like, sure. What does that entail? They're like, oh, you'll figure it out. And we just figured it out.
Whoa.
So did tours with Compassion and was the production manager, front of house. And I really, before I jumped on the road, I wanted to mix movies actually. So I watched Top Gun as a kid, and like the Dolby, like even the stereo image, like going across the screen was like, oh, I want to do that. So I had a affinity for audio. So I loved mixing. Like that was like a bit of a passion for me. And I was like, whatever I need to do to mix. So I said yes to, okay, I'll be the Compassion rep and the production manager just so I could mix. Or I'll be the tour manager, fine, so I could mix. And then it turned into, falling into bigger tours and then just kind of, eventually getting into a lot of leadership positions. So I ended up just being just the tour manager and front of house engineer, and really kind of created a beautiful, thank God for these artists. Like they just allowed me to be able to do that. But it was a really fun thing to like fall into that lane of like just tour managing and then front of house, and we figured it out. It was a dance though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a dance.
Still definitely a big job. It's still a bigger job than just being TM.
Oh, totally.
But
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, honestly. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
I have memories of settling the show as a tour manager at the front house console during the last 2 songs of the show.
What?
Yeah, like totally. I literally would make it not like a road case desk, and some promoters are like, I'm trying to get out of here. I want to get my martini by 9 o'clock. So can we just go ahead and do this? And I got really good at like creating systems that were really fast. So like I would pre-settle before the show would start. And so I'd have everything and I'm like, okay, I think this is where we're going to be. Just get the box office stuff. We'll plug that in. And I just loved multitasking too. It was fun. I still kind of do, but not as much as when I was in my 20s. But I loved multitasking. So looking at the computer, mixing the song, it was just fun. Now, totally irresponsible. I'm sure I botched some settlements, and I'm sure I botched some mixing moments, but it was what needed to happen. Thrilling. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What could go wrong if you were doing that?
Leaving money on the table. Yeah. Like I bet these promoters are like, oh, check this out. I'm going to pull this one over. Again, like I learned on the go, like learning touring finances. In order to multitask like that, you have to set yourself up. Yep. You know what I mean? Like have your systems set up. So I was like, okay, in order for me to be front of house and tour manager, I have to have a really great tech. Yeah. And those guys became my brothers on the road. Like trusted, like, and even the guys that I worked with, I would still, like, they're still friends of mine. I would still call them, I would trust them with my children,
Wow.
Like that kind of trust. So it's like, dude, I need you to line check, and I'll come in and do the sound check, but I need you to line check, get the PA just right. I can't spend a bunch of time out here unless we just need to, get another front house engineer. That's fine, but that's not how we did it. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Totally.
Same thing with settlement. Like tons can go wrong. So I just built a system to go, we do pre-settlement and I had it, oh my gosh, I was so regimented. Every second of the day was accounted for. There wasn't a second that wasn't accounted for. Like when I got to that level of needing to be able to do that, like I'm talking from like off the bus, and I built like a file maker. Do you know what file maker is?
Yeah.
So like I built a file maker. This is way before like Master Tour.
Yeah, dude.
And I think the first Master Tour was built on file maker.
Right. Yes.
And I created just our own, and I followed it to a T because it was the only way that I could do an entire day and eat at least lunch and dinner and do the meet and greet with the artist, and then, you know, get the show started, and then get openers on and off, and then, you know, make sure the artist is good. Okay, somebody else has to grab the artist to get them on stage because I'm at the console. With the line check during intermission, somebody else needs to do that because I'm getting him ready. Does that make sense?
No,
like you have to set up these systems. A lot of things are possible. Are they ideal? I wouldn't do that now. No way. I would never, ever set it up. I'd be like, and as we progressed in life, like with Toby, we built a really beautiful team, and it was a dance, but it was fun.
No,
really
I've never
fun.
had anyone go that into detail of like, because I mean, you have to know exactly what's happening that next day.
Oh, totally.
And especially being the TM and being the leader of anyone asking any question, you have to answer that. There's no one else answering that question.
Yes. There was a philosophy that I had. Am I talking too much?
Are you not on a podcast?
Okay, gosh. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm talking a lot.
I'm not the guest.
Okay. You just cut me off if I'm
much.
getting too long-winded
I'll
on
kill
somebody's
you.
answers. Okay,
You're supposed to talk way more than me,
Okay.
please.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just sparking these
Let's
memories.
go.
So I had this philosophy that was like, answer all the questions, solve all the problems before they happen, right? So like the questions that would come, this is, again, the joke is like, check Master Tour, check Master Tour. We didn't have Master Tour. We had printed off day sheets, and like you would get a binder, and sometimes we'd go to Kinko's and do like a spiral bound mini tour book, right?
Right.
Gosh, I just said tour book. Like that's a thing that used to exist. That doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And like it would all be in there, but you would do that a month ahead of time, hopefully a month ahead of time. So you'd have all the information there. Nowadays, you're like, dude, things change on a dime. Like sound check time, that's going to change. It's like, oh, well, that changes. And we didn't have text back then. It was just like, figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
But I think about like answering the questions and solving the problems ahead of time. You can't solve every problem. But I remember this. What I would do before any large tour is I would go to a place by myself, and I would set up like on a picnic table and have my laptop, and I'd have the full tour, you know, routing. And I would literally, this is so hippie. I can't believe I'm telling you this right now. But I would, in my mind, I would picture every single day. I would, in my mind, even I was like, okay, we need to get to, say, first show is in, I don't know, Milwaukee. So it's, you know, we got a few overdrives to get there. I think there's a few overdrives. I can't even remember now. But like, okay, I'm thinking about, okay, bus call needs to be at this time. That means that I need to get to the grocery store at this time. That means that I need to leave the house at this time. I'd literally walk it back that detailed, okay? Up until like, okay, I'm getting off the bus at this time, and I'm walking, and I can visualize. And, you know, you do it long enough, you're like, I can visualize the arena. So it's like, okay, I know that there's this walk to get from the bus there. Okay, got that. I already know where my production office is going to go. I already know where the dressing rooms are going to go. I'm visualizing that, and I'll advance it that way. Like I'm already pre-selecting dressing rooms. We'd always have a ton of openers with Toby. I mean, tons.
Whoa.
Like sometimes like 7 or 8 openers, and like we're like producing like a mini, you know, variety show every day.
Yeah.
And so I had to think through those things and up meticulous to even like, there was times where we had 2 or 3 openers where like, sweet, I get like an hour to go skateboarding in the afternoon. Build that in, you know? And you have to like tell people, okay, this is what's going to happen. I need you to fall into place here. And then also bring their input in. But I would rehearse it all the way through. It's exhausting. I would stay up way too late and wake up really early in the morning. And I'd think through every single second of the entire like 40 or 50 city tour. It's really weird. And so, yes, I had that philosophy. That was one of the things that kept me alive during that time. Because I would meet other tour managers, like, I haven't eaten for like 2 days. I'm like, that's terrible. I was like, you get celebrated on the road for like working yourself to the bone.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't want that culture. Like the celebration of a tour manager should be that there's a few times during the day, there's a feet up on the desk reading a book. That should be like, I got my crap together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It shouldn't be the culture of like, oh, I'm just working hard and I'm a jerk and I smoke 10 cigarettes a day. And Sorry to all the tour managers that need to do that. I had that season. Where's the camera? I
Yeah.
had that season, my brothers and sisters out there, where I was like, I cannot believe this. But I was like, I'm not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Build systems, ask for help too, ask for resources.
That is,
Sorry.
I've never heard that before. I was, because I'm trying to figure out just my own process and trying to figure out rest and things.
Yeah.
And like success does look like being able to take breaks. Because
Yes.
if you're not scheduling that
Totally.
in, you're only planning for your own burnout.
Totally.
And so that is, you're rehearsing, like you're like the artist, you are rehearsing what your job is.
Yeah.
And as leader,
Yeah.
if you're not mentally there,
No.
I feel like there were so many days where I walk in, I don't actually really know what's going on. I feel like the tour manager needs to have that,
Yeah.
like precision of, do you like answering people's questions?
Totally.
I don't like that. I don't think I would be a great tour manager. Like I don't want to know. I want to.
I want somebody else to know. No, I'm with you because
Yeah.
that was a major pain point early in my tour management career. It's a major pain point of like, oh my gosh, I'm just getting asked questions constantly. And then when texting came out, and it was like T9 style
Yeah.
texting. When that came out, it was like, oh my gosh, the questions like quadrupled. And so again, building a system around that, I was like, I have a major pain point. I cannot be like, the PO is already a popular place. And so like, how do we try to make ways and systems that people can answer their own questions or be empowered to solve their own problems, that sort of thing?
Right.
I'm with you. And it's like one tour would work, and the next tour it's like, oh, let's build a system around that. Let's build a system. But it's systems and cultures together too, because you don't want to over systematize the whole thing where it's like, man, we just feel like a bunch of robots out here. Like you want to have
Yeah.
life and dynamic.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
What culture did you try to build? Let's talk
gosh,
about
that's awesome,
when did
yeah.
you get out with TobyMac?
Yeah, so I started with Toby, I think it was 2000, I'm doing the math in my head, 2005, yeah, 2004, 2005, around there. It's foggy because I joke about this because I was like, I don't know when he actually hired me. He just never fired me.
Okay, we like that.
Right? So like he asked me to do, and it was funny because I was working for like 4 or 5 artists at the same time. I want you to imagine this. I don't even
Dude.
know if you know what these things are, but a Palm Pilot
Oh God, yeah.
and a Sidekick. Do you remember the Sidekick?
Oh
The
my
T-Mobile
God.
Sidekick, like the flip over thingy. I had those two things. I don't know why. I just thought it was cool. But I had like a phone and then like more of like just my organizational stuff on the Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
I was doing so many gigs that I had to look at my Palm Pilot every morning and go like, okay, what city am I in and what artist am I working for? I was getting so confused. It was too much. I didn't have great systems then.
Okay.
And I literally was like, crap, I need to pay rent, like real rent, and I'm actually need to start doing my finances. So, and I realized I have to do X amount of shows per month, and these artists didn't have enough shows, and nothing was adding up. And I was like, this is hard, you know. And I was burning myself out, and so I literally prayed. I was like, God, can you give me one artist that has enough gigs in the year so I can pay rent and not work for other artists? And I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, we did it. I was with Rachel and then another friend. I was doing front house for him on another tour, same tour. And Toby was on that tour. And he called 2 weeks later. He's like, hey, it's Toby. And I was like, Toby who? He's like, TobyMac. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, dude?
boss?
Like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, hey, can you come do your thing with me? And I was like, funny enough, I was like, I don't know what my thing is. Like I was like, I tour manage, I production manage, I front of house. I can do like, you know, sponsor rep, you know, I can do merch. I can do PA stuff. Like, what exactly did you want? And I remember him going like, no, man, just do your thing. I was like, he was starting his, like, you know, his thing after DC Talk. And so he was you know, a solo artist. And he was like, why? I think he was either afraid to say, I need you to do a lot of things, and I don't want to fully define that right now and chase you up. Maybe that's what it was. So Toby, if you're
Maybe.
listening, maybe you can help bring some clarity to that.
Many hats.
But yeah, but it was just like, come figure this out. Now, I knew that I needed to mix. I knew that I needed to tour manage, those two things. So I came in and did that. And then just from there, I toured with a few other artists at the same time, and I was like, can't do it anymore. So I stuck with Toby. And then I, you know, popped in and out of other things, one-offs and stuff like that. Wow. But you asked about culture.
Yes.
At the beginning, it was like we had 14 people on the bus kind of thing.
Whoa.
You know, like big band. But it was so exciting. Like it was just ragtag, man. Like we had a big band. We would be like second or like a direct support on these like festivals, and like he was still rebuilding his thing. He had a lot of dog in him, just like, let's go get him. And then we just felt that spirit. And so we took his lead in that of just like, let's freaking do it. And in that time in his career, he would say, like, he would get the option, do you want a headline or you want a pre-headline? He's like, pre-headline. Let us do it. We're just going to freaking mic drop. And it was so fun. Wow. So fun to just hit it and quit it. Like, get it, done, boom, and like literally like mic drop at times. And
you were probably responsible for maintaining that energy. Yeah?
Well, there was part of that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely would say it was his lead. And I supported that, but I had it in me too.
Yeah.
I think that's why we got along so much. We're just competitive. We just love, and he's a competitive guy. We loved it. Like sports, even during rehearsals, we're like, all right, stop. Let's try to throw this football across the rehearsal hall into that trash can for like 30 minutes. And we're like, why are we doing this? It's just, you can't get away from competition constantly,
Oh, wow.
And so there was a culture of just like hungry. But there was a humility along with that too.
Yeah.
Humble and hungry at the same time. I think that's really funny enough as I'm thinking about this. Like, that's really what I think sustained and promoted his success. And I was just following him in that. I learned humility from TobyMac. I learned humility from a guy named Gabe Patillo, who's no longer with us, but he was like right hand to Toby. And I watched them and I was like, man, humility and hunger like pushes us. And because if you have hunger and no humility, you're a jerk sometimes. And I was headed that direction for sure.
Look at the organization you lead. Hunger,
Yeah,
humility.
I know, wow.
Dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cool.
Okay, before we get into that, that's so interesting. So 14 people, you're going after it. And you as leader doing your thing. Yeah. Also, what a cool job title. I'm just doing my thing. Just doing the Ryan Lampa thing. So you're working your ass off. And so that culture of, that's the people that you hire on that want to believe in that, that have the same drive.
Totally.
Did you have anyone out there that it wasn't the vibe and you had to kind of find other? Yeah.
Funny thing is too, like with Toby, man, he doesn't like to fire people at all. I would say the majority of the time when there was tension, like say with career or band, he would be like, let's work through it, dude.
No.
And he was just like wild with that. And I'll just go on record to say, like, man, he pushed it right to the edge a lot of times.
Wow.
He just believed in the best of people. and I turned into that too. I was like, all right, I'll believe in the best. And most times it came back around, but man, sometimes it's like long suffering of trying to figure this out. So if that's the option, you're like, this guy's not going anywhere. We're going to have to work this out. You learn how to communicate and survive. Because there's a temptation to go like, all right, let's go apathy with this. Let's just screw it. It's just going to be what it's going to be. But if it's like, all right, this is it. We got to figure out how to thrive in this. Then it's sit downs, man, back lounge, like, hey, we got to work this out, me and you. And there's, everybody's got the blow ups from the road for sure. And it resulted in that, but it also resulted in a brotherhood.
Isn't that love?
It is love, but man, it's a freaking cost.
Yeah.
There's a huge cost to that. There was other gigs that I was on. I was like, nah, man, bus ticket.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.
Like, see ya. And it was like, oh man, that hurts too.
Yeah.
But when you go through, I think, war and you trudge through it and try to find ways, it's not possible all the time. It's really not. Because if the capability's not there, like you literally cannot do the job, or you're compromising things, or things are unsafe, like, no, man, we got to make a change.
Yeah.
The culture, though, but in like the 2000s, I think, was just like high tolerance, though, at least for us. Because it was a high cost to replace people.
Right. There wasn't that many people doing it.
There wasn't.
Yeah.
You'd like to say there was a line, but no, there wasn't at the time. It was like, oh gosh, we got a guy. He knows kind of what to do. But honestly, we didn't really come across that a ton. We were blessed in that. Like every so often you'd be like, oh gosh, this is a really bad fit. But man, we pushed through some stuff.
But that's love.
It was.
I just can't. That's humble servant leadership.
Yeah. There's so much at stake, Nikki, though, in that. And I love it. There is love in that. And you learn and you figure things out. but there's so much at stake. It's a really like thin line, I would say.
Yeah.
Like it's like a mountaintop. It's like a peak. You could easily fall over. It is beautiful, beautiful culture, but there's also like, oh, but gosh, I mean,
life's so much harder.
totally. And you're building shows. You're not sleeping. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, gosh, man, I'm depending on this person.
Right.
And they're not pulling their weight. It's hard. Yeah. Again, there's a bunch of things I think I learned in that, but
How long was it like that?
you know, it would come in spurts. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, I mean, he still doesn't like to fire people for sure. But man, that guy, he saw the best in people, and it was really beautiful to follow in those footsteps.
Wow.
Because he would draw that. He drew it out of me, drew the best out of me, and it was really fun. And also not, it's not pleasant sometimes. You're like, when you're getting the best drawn out of you, being reminded like that. I mean, I remember specifically times where he's like, man, that's not like you. And I'm like, yeah. And you're like, you're right. It's not like me. And
Did you have to do that to others?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, to do it to other people?
Did you have to?
Oh, yes. I mean, it was done to me, and it's a gift to do it to others too.
Yeah.
I mean, I pray they don't have to do that very often, but yes.
Yeah.
I definitely participated in that, but it was done to me in such like firm and loving ways that you can do that to others.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been on the road for like 6 years,
Yeah.
7 years almost now. I don't know if the culture is still like that out there where it's like, we need to work through this, or if it's just like, we got to replace you. I don't know if it's still like that out there. Maybe you know better than I.
I think I would be really actually curious to know. I kind of want to ask everyone.
It probably depends on the gig, I guess. But
totally.
like, gosh, because there's risk on both sides. Yeah.
I think that what people would rather do is if the heart is there, and you can teach them, people want to keep that.
Totally.
But if it's the culture that's not the right fit, I feel like that's a quick. But let's take it. But flight. But it's interesting working through it because there's plenty of leaders that are like, let's just get a new one out with the old.
Yeah. Because I get that. Like at times where you're like, dude, I don't have time for this, and you have to gauge. Okay, how much time and effort is it going to take to develop this person?
Right.
Even in the cultural side or capability side.
Yeah.
You have to gauge that as a leader to go, this is going to take too long or take too many resources.
Right.
Or this is going to pull us into this direction and we cannot afford that.
Yep.
It's a really terrible burden to have.
And then you got liability on it.
Totally, man. Yes, the liability safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, man.
Okay, so you were doing, then did you hire front of house and then you just did TM work?
No, I never
You were
quit.
always doing it.
I never quit front of house, man.
Good.
I mean, so there's this, I think it's still on YouTube. I got to find it. A dear friend of mine. So, okay, I transitioned off of the road around 6 years ago, and I did some higher ed stuff. So I was teaching college kids how to do what we did.
Wow.
But right before that, the director of that program was like, hey, can I just do like a mini documentary from like your day on the road? And he captured it. It was a perfect day to capture because a bunch of things went wrong. It was awesome.
Okay.
But it was really action packed, and I reflected on it. He followed me and he had a microphone on me. And like what the problem was, and I won't say where this was, but it was at a venue close to Nashville, not in Nashville, but close to Nashville. And we had our buses parked normally. I've been to that venue like 100 times. And just so happened that day, the fire marshal was like, no, I don't like the way that they're positioned. And we're like, okay. I was like, how many times have we been here? And like, I kind of got into that. I wasn't being mean, but I was like, I'm about to go mix a show literally in like 7 minutes. And they said, it was like during intermission, like these buses got to move. I was like, we have like a double overdrive tonight. They're sleeping. I'm not going to pull them back to move these buses. We already had approval from this morning. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, I'm arguing with the fire marshal, and that's not a good idea. Don't argue with the fire marshal. That's a terrible idea. He's like, literally, you want to talk about pulling the plug? That guy can pull the plug. And I was like arguing with the guy. Thank God my assistant at the time, who's now the tour manager for Toby, his name is Justin McGaldy. Shout out to Justin McGaldy. He's awesome. He was standing there with me, and he was just kind of like, okay. And he hit one of his superpowers is he can look at problems and go, this is what we should do.
Ooh.
And in the moment, I was just like mad. And I'm like, I got to mix a show. I can hear the countdown music going on. And anyway, long story short, he was like, you know what we should do? We should do this. And he just thought of like, if we button up this trailer, because the trailer was down. He was like, button up this trailer, we'll move this van. And if this van moves, like he just came up with this wild idea. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I looked at the fire marshal and he goes, yeah, that'll work. And I was like, okay, wow, I gotta go. And I literally ran to the console. No joke. I mean, it sounds so dramatic, but like 10 seconds left. And I was on the radio. I was like talking to fire marshal. They're like, okay, should we delay for show? I was like, nope, I got it. I was like, ran to the console. They had line checked for me and everything. And then they would go like, you know, I mean, the protocol was like, they would ask for final approval. Are we good for show? And I said, go for show. And it was like, unmute and go.
And breathe.
And breathe. And it was so fun, though. That's so fun.
You crazy.
It was so fun. There's another funny story I remember, too.
Please.
Oh, gosh, I'm talking about Toby a lot on this.
So cool.
We had this, like, masseuse come in. And this was, like, during... it was during the openers. And so we had a masseuse come in, and he was really generous about that. Sometimes he'd be like, hey, let's get somebody else. You want to get a massage and keep him around. It was awesome. And he grabbed me like during intermission. He's like, that's the best massage I've ever had in my life. I was like, awesome. And he's like, you have to go in there. I was like, dude, we have a show in 15 minutes. Like we're on stage in 15 minutes. He's like, go in there and get a massage for 15 minutes. I was like, no, man. I'm trying to like take it easy. And he's like, no, man, you gotta go. And he just looked at me. I'm telling you. And the only way I could describe it is like, it's that dog in him, man.
Yeah.
You're kind of like that. Let's just do it. Let's ride the edge. And I was like, all right, I'll ride the edge. You're the boss, man. I'll go in there. And so I got a massage like right up until like 20 seconds till the show. And I was literally like, radio me when we got 30 seconds left. And I remember it was like underneath the bleachers kind of thing, getting a massage. I was like, well, the boss told me to do it. So
and
I
did you
ran
make
out
it?
to the console. Oh, yeah.
Made it. You got to make it fun.
You got to make it fun. Now, I don't advise all this stuff. It sounds so pie in the sky. Like, that didn't really happen. I was like, no, it really happened. It was fun.
Well, with the fire marshal, it's interesting, like, emotions can really rule over your rational
100%.
brain. And so you had this awesome assistant. What's his name?
Justin,
who's like not reacting. Like that's something that I've still struggled with is
so
reacting
cool.
is terrible. Yeah. How do you, when you're in the middle of it and you're like, I know I'm pissed and I shouldn't be pissed and I should just breathe and I'm being crazy. I should walk away. Like what do you do when you're feeling emotions rule?
Totally. I did not have tools then that I do now. I'll tell you for sure. I did not have the tools. I'll say that there was a deciding factor in my career. My little brother, Nate, he was assisting me on a tour, or a bunch of tours, but there was one tour in particular where I was headed down that like mean tour manager route and he called me out.
Wow.
He's like, dude, you're a jerk. And I was like, oh. Like I crushed a opener tour manager asking for like more comps or something. And I was just like, nah. You know, and he's like, you didn't have to make a big show about that. He really called me out. And it was literally a deciding factor. Like when he left, I was like, that's my little brother calling me out. And it was humbling. And I went, okay, hang on a second. All like for me personally, it came around to like prayer and like I had to leave and walk. I remember it was in the Denver Coliseum and I went into like that little parking garage area and I just walked around. I was like, all right, God, am I missing something? I don't want to head this direction. And through prayer, I was like, okay, I'm getting to know the direction how I want to lead. It's not just leading. It's like, how do I want to do it? And so applying values of that, like trying to apply values of gentleness and benefit of the doubt, of having these like core values of like, do I have these? And what are my core values? And stopping as a young person, I don't know. What's on the menu? I don't know. I'm not sure. Right. Looking at a list and even trying to grab which ones feel best. And so you're talking about like, how do you even navigate those things? I think it's values driven, but what I wish I would have had then was somebody that was skilled enough to kind of extract those things. Be like, what are your values and values that they see in me and potential values that I could try to strive to for. Yeah. And, again, I don't feel like I nailed it at all in my tour management. I learned this stuff way later, but I do feel that, in my time of tour managing, I had really great values shown to me. Again, like those that went before me, Toby, and a lot of the band was a lot of older than me too. I got to watch them in their lives and how they, did their life on the road, off the road. We were very close. And so I just snagged these little values from people. respect. And again, that benefit of the doubt was really helpful for me. Now, it didn't show at that show that I told you a story about just a minute ago. I was like, this is annoying. I totally forgot I had a microphone on me too. I was like, oh my gosh, you were recording? He's like, totally, bro. I was like, no way. No. But it was fun to capture that. Yeah. Because I look back and I watched that tape and I was like, I never lost my cool, but I was very like frustrated.
Yeah.
Also too, I think I watched other people blow up and I was like, that's not effective. I never saw a blow up be effective. I saw blow ups where it resulted in the person getting what they wanted. Yeah. But that was rarely the best. The best came out when two tensions met each other and something better popped out. Oof. I don't even know if that was your original question. But like, I don't even remember what I asked. That's so cool. Yeah. Like navigating hard things. Yeah. And being open to like, hey, let's come together on this, collaborate.
Well, I mean, you have so much. You're doing so much, and again, you're literally rehearsing what every minute of every day is. And if you don't do that, you are behind.
Oh, totally.
And then the stress is there, and then you could blow up on things that otherwise you wouldn't.
The unforeseeable will happen. Yeah. So have as much solid as possible. So having margin in there too is helpful as well.
Well, that's what. Yeah, when you're rehearsing it minute for minute, like you knew things weren't going to go right. Yeah. When things didn't go right, did you feel like, oh fuck, now I'm off track, and now did that feel out of control?
Absolutely. And you have to reset. You have to reset. It's like, gosh, I mean, buses are late, a truck's late, a truck's not coming, a bus isn't coming. Whoa, yeah, you have to go, but imagine if you're coming ill prepared into that, like, oh my gosh, at least I know which aspects need to be moved around.
Got it.
Like we literally had a truck not show up at a show. I was like, oh crap, never happened before in my life. I have no idea what to do. Yeah. It was like worst nightmare. It's only happened once in my career, thank God. Because that's really stressful. Wow. And it was a gig. It was like a one-off gig with one truck. Which gosh. But that's like risers, band gear, consoles, like everything we need to like survive. And it was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I literally was like, all right. One of those moments of, I have to be very resourceful right now. And we were not in a music city kind of place where it was like, I called like a high school band. We had horns in a backline. I had to call a high school band like rental place, like where like high school kids rent their trumpets for marching band. I had to call them and they were like, we don't do like 1 day rentals. I was like, today you do. Today you do 1 day rentals. They're like, okay, walk me through this. I was like, name your price, bro. What do you want for two trumpets and a trombone?
Oh my gosh.
Like, cut me a deal. They're like, oh man, I mean, does $45 per horn sound good? I was like, yes. $45. I remember I was like, I think he's gonna be like $2,000. They're like, I don't know, man. $45. This is usually what we do for a whole semester. I was like, oh yeah, bring it. I was like, you want tickets to a TobyMac show? Got you. I'll put you on the front row. I cannot believe that show.
What else did you do with did you use house systems? I guess?
We had house PA. We just needed control. Okay. And so we were on a college campus. And I think that we found out there was a venue on the college camp, another venue that had consoles that would work. I was like, no, literally, like I have no idea. I'm like, I can't believe this actually happened. I remember going to my monitor engineer. I was like, hey, so we have no truck. He's like, no, for real. And he's like, this is impossible. I was like, no, we have to have it. We have to do a show. We found wireless mics somewhere, like Guitar Center.
Oh my gosh.
Like half a Guitar Center was on the stage. Brand new, beautiful amps. Like like backline's never like brand new. It was brand new.
Save the receipt.
It literally had the
Where's
tag
it going tomorrow?
It had the tag on it. I negotiated with the friggin' Guitar Center. Like, wow. They're like, we don't rent stuff. I was like, I understand that. Don't call it a rental.
You don't get it.
The
truck's not here.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna buy this and return it. Yeah. But I want you to have money because of this. They're like, I'm gonna have to get a manager on the phone. Get the manager.
That's crazy. Yeah. And that only happened one time. And what was the reason? You don't have to
I didn't tell them about the show. Well, it was a special event. Gosh, this is like Confessions of the Road. I don't know if I've ever told anybody this. Oh, great! Now I'm on camera, like on the podcast. No, it was a it was a special event that didn't go on our like, we always got our routing from the agency.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it on that schedule. We had it on our internal schedules, but I always like give them I'd give the trucking company the agency.
Right.
Right. Cause you should have everything on there. Agency. But no, that's my bad.
But that's an even worse feeling.
Oh, it's the worst.
You're like,
I mean, my stomach is turning right now, remembering that going, but I knew it. I don't know. Maybe I could ask other tour managers out there. Like, is that one of those things? I would do that so much. I'd be laying in my bed on the bunk going, what if I gave them the wrong city? And so I would do two things sometimes. I would like look on my phone and make sure we're heading in the direction of the venue, just like peace of mind.
Yeah.
And then other times I'd go up to the front and be like, hey man, just checking on you. See you in Albuquerque.
Right.
And just see how they respond. And be like, yep, see you in Albuquerque. Be like, okay.
Oh my God.
Right city.
That's so scary.
Just like I would do it in the middle of the night. I just get up and just like, I don't know.
Well, there's so much that can go wrong. It's really a miracle, but it's I feel like, that mindset of, well, we're going to have a show. We're going to figure it out. Totally. Why there haven't been more disasters in this industry,
Totally.
That's a disaster,
That's a
right?
disaster. Now, I mean, like, this is now as like the career went along, you had way too many people involved.
Yeah.
Like where you have like a really killer production manager, really killer assistants, really killer lead driver, lead truck driver, promoter staff. You have all these people. You're like, there's way too many people that know what's going on for anything to fall through the cracks.
Totally.
Like that, like a big flub up. But like the missed truck for Toby, it was just me.
And that'll never happen again. I mean, you're never going to forget about that.
No, oh no.
Thanks for sharing.
I'll never
your secrets.
forget that. That's funny. That's a total secret. I don't think I've ever told anybody that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
wow. Thanks for telling all
exclusive.
of our exclusive here.
Podcast. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So you were out with Christian musicians primarily.
Yeah.
So I assume there's faith within the crew. Like, did you bring that, like, any spirituality? Did you bring any prayer to the crew? Yeah. What did that look like?
Like, I mean, it depended on the gig. So I did a lot of different Christian artists for sure. Like everything from like Nicole Mullen. I worked with like Big Daddy Weave, Jeff Moore, Toby, my sister Rachel. I mean, tons of different artists. And honestly, like people would call and be like, "Hey, can you go do Fernando Ortega?" Yeah. Like people just call it, "Hey, can you do this weekend?" Yeah, got it. Can you do this 3-week run? Got it. Cool. And each artist had their own culture. It was very distinct too. Like some were like, "Yes, we pray before every show." Some are like, "We don't pray before every show." Some are like, "We do Bible studies in the dressing room an hour before the show." Or some are like, we hang out afterwards. Some are like, we just do Sunday church and we just make church.
Cool.
So it really, I had to take the lead of like what the established culture was. On Toby's tour, there was prayer before the show. We did Sunday church. It was a really beautiful thing. We'd bring the whole tour together. And it was hard because the crew couldn't really come, So we tried to create little cultural things for the crew. We did this thing called tea time. Because it was like the only time we really was like, okay, everybody can make it is probably 4.
Right.
Or it was like, let's see, if we had 6 o'clock doors, we would do like 5:45. So you had that 45 minutes to get dinner, as long as everything was done by 5. And so like 5:45, we do tea time. We'd put a hot pot of coffee on and just gather the crew and monitor world. Like no agenda, but it was a time to just like be together for a second. It was like before like, spot meeting, and you're like, yeah, we can just be together. And sometimes it was prayer. Sometimes it was singing happy birthday. Sometimes it was just breathing.
Cool.
But yes, there was a lot of different prayer and spiritual aspects to it. I always had a hard time with the crew not having church. Yeah. And I could never outsmart that. I could never figure it out. Because there was a thing, too, a lot of times with Christian shows, that it was better for the market for a 6 o'clock show on Sundays.
Right.
And so it was like, I mean, when are we going to have church, man? I don't know.
Right.
So we try to create
worship there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But you just had to figure it out. I mean, I don't know. I never cracked the code on that, to be honest with you. And there's a pain point there, but I'm like, all right, so in light of all of that, let's find times to outside of Sunday. Yeah. To just be together. And we tried to do the best on that. That's really super hard.
Yeah. This episode of the Gigs podcast is sponsored by Gigs. If you don't know what that is yet, it is the professional platform for specifically live event professionals, where professionals and employers can connect, find jobs, hire, and ultimately thrive in this industry. So go to gigs.live, become a professional or an employer, post jobs for free, apply to jobs for free. I mean, it's really a no-brainer. Get more jobs, connect with more people, join Gigs. A big thank you to our directory tier 1 sponsors, Mammoth Sound, Bandwagon RV Rentals, Round the Clock Logistics, The Greatest Show Events, and many more for supporting the Gigs community and helping keep the industry moving. So you're going along there. Mm-hmm. You're in Nashville with your brother, with some other friends.
Yep.
Monday nights in Nashville were typically called the Roadie Fridays because everyone's here.
Right.
And you thought, why can't we spend this doing something good?
Yes, totally.
So tell me about that first Monday.
Totally. So, yeah, like the normal thing. Me and my brother, we go to Fido, on Hillsborough Village, drink coffee, watch, fire trucks go by, just like decompress from the weekend, take a nap. And during that season, there was 2 gentlemen that were living on a stoop of the house that was across like the alley from where I lived. I lived like near West End. Cool. And so it was this little carriage house. There's an alley between houses, and it was a condemned house, and they were living on the stoop. Got to know them and just got to know their life, and was like, all right, I'm hearing their stories. And I had this idea to like support financially this guy. I was like, I'm going to give you $5 every time you come to my house, as long as you give me a receipt. He hated the idea. And he actually slammed the door in my face. And that led to a prayer of like, God, I'm missing something. Teach me. And so God taught me like that not every story is the same, especially those like experiencing homelessness. Homelessness is the result of other issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's, it can be a lot of things. It can be interpersonal violence. It could be addiction. It could be mental health. It could be running out of money. It could be losing a job. It could be hospital bills. It could be like I was learning stories from, folks that are traveling from like New York to Florida, and then their car broke down. They didn't have a support system. And you're like, oh my gosh, this resulted in homelessness. So really complex issues. And so what I felt like one lesson that God taught me in this is not every story is the same. It's all different. Okay. What do you want me to do? So, in the Bible, it says like to feed the hungry and give drink to the thirsty. I was like, fine, let's do that. So I called some friends together. It was Thanksgiving. We said, hey, can we get together and cook a meal? We'll just distribute it downtown. We're like, sure. We would get together all the time anyway. So it was like me and a few friends. One of those friends was our monitor engineer for Toby. His name was Heath. And then his wife, they were dating at the time. Her name's Lori. And all of us were roadies. We didn't know how to cook food. We were like, we only know catering, Lori, thank God for her. She's like, I know how to cook food. It was around Thanksgiving, so she made like a little mini Thanksgiving meal. No. We packaged it up in like brown paper bags and distributed it. And that night was like, whoa, we saw the side of our city that we normally ignored. And we're like, gosh, man, there's people that are starving outside, living outside in the bitter cold. We went to pizza at Bosco's on Hillsborough Village again. That was like the only place to hang out. We sat there and we couldn't eat the pizza because we were like so changed, and it was impressed upon our hearts to do this on a regular basis. Some of us were like, yeah, that's like twice a year. That's a regular basis, right? Yeah, great. But on my heart and a few other people's hearts, it was like weekly. And we're like, that sounds terrible. I'll tell you this part of the story too, that during that time, so that was November, I was producing a New Year's gig in December, and personally, like, I went into like a bit of a depression. Like I had gotten into a business deal that I didn't like. It wasn't good for me, and it kind of drove me into the ground. And I had this knocking on my heart: feed the hungry on a weekly basis. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And the long story short of that is that New Year's Eve gig was very redemptive for me. Got to the gig, and honestly, through miracles, a lot of things were restored for me. And I thought, okay. And then it was just like a voice from heaven, like, hey, go serve every week. I was like, okay, fine. Okay. So we just started that first Monday of that January, because we were on a tour called Winter Jam. Oh, yeah. And every Monday, we're like, okay, we got to pick a day that we're most likely back. It was with Toby. Mondays. So we just picked it. And we said, we're going to do this as much as possible, or for as long as possible. and we haven't missed a Monday since then.
17
Crazy.
years.
17 years, yeah.
So through tornadoes,
Yes.
through holidays,
Yes.
especially holidays,
I know.
especially disasters.
Yeah, totally.
But rain, I mean, we get the craziest weather.
Yeah.
That in itself is just so commendable, and it's that obedience of you heard it.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it.
Yeah.
I've been for the past year, like my word of last year was obedience, and I'm sorry, it was discipline. What am I saying? I was wrong. But then this year, it's balance and obedience. And anyways, all this to say, whenever like a credit card transaction doesn't go through, or a relationship is kind of something's feeling off, or like making a phone call and the service goes out, it's like I feel like all of those small signs are okay. You're not supposed to make the call. You're not supposed to buy that thing.
Sure.
The first go round. And so I feel like you were feeling this in your heart of things weren't going right with this partnership or whatever, and then you hear clearly to move.
It's super
That's
clearly.
crazy.
And being in the midst of that tension for sure. 'Cause it was hard. It was hard for me. It's probably one of like I've had like 2 or 3 times in my life where I was like, ooh, that was like a dark night of the soul kind of thing. And that was one of them. It was so weird. And it was interesting how
that's where he meets you though.
Yeah, totally. Like where it's like, okay, and I wouldn't replace that for anything.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people living in Nashville would be around if that season wasn't there. I don't think so. Because it was tried. It was a trying season of, I don't want to do that, but there's a path and there's a light down that path. And of course, I guess anybody can say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, and by no means did I think it was going to be what it is now. Because it was just like get friends together and, you know, and like literally the way we'd fundraise for it. We weren't even a nonprofit. Like we put like money in a jar and then turn the jar over and be like, all right, we got $33. Let's walk to the grocery store down the street and then see what we can buy and then distribute those meals.
So it was how many of you guys?
It was 5 at the beginning, but it quickly turned into like 20 or 30.
Wow. Did you get other roadies to do this?
Mostly roadies. Yep, mostly. Like it was like majority roadies were like, and it was the way that we built it too. We just fell into like building it like as we would do a show.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, prep, cool, load in, great. All right, we need people, we need like department heads. We need like, you do the clothing, you do the food, you do the prayer at the beginning, you just watch over the whole thing. And I was like, whoa, we have like a tour manager. We got like this department, that department. It just started to fall into place. It was just the system that we knew. Mm-hmm. And so this is funny. On that tour, we thought it was like, we needed clothing because like we were serving just meals and they were like, dude, do you guys have any clothing? We're like, no. All right. So I literally put a box out front of Toby's dressing room that said clothing for the poor. And like, who brings donations to it on the road?
Backstage.
Like backstage. Like you're like,
you
I brought
3
my
t-shirts?
suitcase and like, but the box was full every week.
No.
I don't know how. And then multiple boxes. And Toby didn't complain. The band would complain. I probably would have complained too. I was taking up the whole front bay with donations sometimes.
Stop.
It was crazy. So people started bringing clothes, and then some of like, you know, they had like outdated merch, and then the tour sponsors would be like, oh, we have all these leftover beanies from this other tour. Can I bring them next week? Yeah, totally. Load up the front lounge or the front bay.
Yeah.
And then like, I had them stacked up in my house. So we were already, and we had merch people. Like my buddy Eric was Toby's merch guy. And so he was like, I know how to sort this crap. Like,
oh my gosh.
I got you. And we just load it up into our cars and bring it downtown. So it's very like ragtag again and building it as we went.
How ragtag? How long was it ragtag?
Sometimes I feel like it still is. You know, like we're still figuring it out. We're always shifting and changing and growing and developing. I feel like we do have very much like a grassroots feel. We have a lot of structure for sure at People Living Nashville now. Lots of structure. And it was only that, like I would say there was a shift right around like 2019, 2020 before the pandemic. Like we need to grow into more sustainability, because at that point that would have been what, 12 years into it. Like what got us to 2020 is not what's going to sustain us through. Yeah. See what I'm saying? What got us there is not going to, not what got us here is not going, what am I trying to say? What got us here is not what's going to take us there.
Yeah.
Because it's like we survived by like piss and vinegar. Right. Just straight up put your head down, figure it out, do the dishes till 2 a.m. It's fine. And we were roadies, so we're just used to just...
didn't that sound like your first few years with TobyMac?
Totally. Or any gig, I was like, this is... And we were resilient, like there's a resilience within roadies that's remarkable. Like you want to get something done. Like I was watching one of your podcasts that you did with somebody, and he's like, 30 minutes, try 30 seconds. Like I can solve this in 30 seconds. They're like, what? I remember the first, oh gosh, I'm totally crapping on like studio guys, but like the first time I like went into a real studio in the studio tech, like there was an issue with the microphone. There was a buzz. That's what it was. A buzz down a keyboard. And the tech was like, man, I'm gonna have to make a pot of coffee. Like this is just, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can fix this like right now. I know exactly what the problem is. And I was sitting there, like I was just a bystander sitting on the couch, and I was like, okay, pot of coffee versus just let me fix it.
And I'll settle a show at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of the mentality with people living Nashville. It kind of still is. It's just, now there's also a risk with that, because not everybody's built like that.
Totally.
And what we realized, we were young, we were in our 20s, we could do that. And then we started getting married and having kids and finances and moving and needing to buy houses. And so with that, and naturally and good, like your capacity changes. Yeah. And so that original group, their capacity lowered. And we couldn't ask those that were coming into the culture to carry that same tenacity, because it wasn't sustainable.
Totally.
And even now in 2025, I think the generations that are younger than me are saying like, hey, that's actually not good. Like you don't need that. And so there's a nice leveling. Isn't there like a term for that right now? Like the great reset or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Where Gen X and millennials were just like, oh my God, I'll do anything. No, never say no. Like, oh my God, am I good enough? Like, and then Gen Z's like,
nah, bro.
I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with them.
No.
It's a generation of people who know what boundaries are at age 20.
Yeah. And they could communicate it.
Yeah. I
remember like, just going into the truck going like, ah! Okay. Instead of like fix it, or draw a boundary. Like I can't.
Totally. Like someone else's emotions were really affecting me. Like when no, that's not my issue. That's like now
that can teeter into madness though. For
totally.
Sure. Like I have a boundary around this, and this, and this. It's like okay, we're
seeing
have
a pendulum swing,
like we gotta and there's a nice leveling of that.
Yeah.
And where sustainability comes in, but that's what we felt like 2019, 2020. Like, can we ask all these volunteers to do all this stuff and to take all these initiatives and really follow through? And when they don't follow through, like, oh, you're a volunteer, like, is this possible? And it was like, wait, there's a better way. Let's see if we can just bring some of these part-time employees. We were all I wasn't even paid till 2020.
Damn, dude.
And like it was like we were all volunteers and had a few part-timers. Like, let's bring these part-timers to full-time. Create some systems and really key people in the organization. We're like, let me create the system. And obviously it's like you always run that risk. Over systematize. Yeah, right. Lose heart, maybe. That's the threat. But then if you're driven by all heart and no systems, there's no sustainability. So finding like a really great medium and then adjusting every season. Yeah. And then admitting like, that one didn't work, did it? Huh? Okay, we still friends? We still good? Like, you still want to do this? There's another side to that too.
So how many people you got now involved with PLN, and then how many volunteers?
So it's 15 staff at the nonprofit. There's 5 full-time staff at the coffee shop. And then we have about 4 to 6 people that are hired in the restoration program, which is, they're the roasters of it. Right? So those are the people that are coming off the streets and rebuilding their life, and it's awesome. So we flux between 24 and 26 total for the organization. And I think we're going to be record volunteers this year, but last year we had about 2,500 volunteers throughout the year come through. I know, it's amazing. It's
wow.
And I was looking at the numbers today. I was like, oh my gosh, we're like over that. Like now it's like August, Oh
my gosh.
So there's a really beautiful thing that's happening there. The community is being built around that. We have an awesome board. There's about 7 people on the board. Tons of donors that are doing it. I mean, we're very good stewards of with our finances, but we take it right up to the edge.
Ah, nice.
But like there's still margin. We pray for margin, hopefully. And there's been a year where there wasn't margin, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. I hope that we can have margin every single year, so it's not just taking it right up to the limit. But We don't waste money is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And the Paradeisos
Yeah.
is so cool. We got to have, you hosted this awesome fundraising event, and what an awesome space. And again, you're bringing in your mission of helping people, not only just feeding them, clothing them, but showing them love, helping them get off of the streets. And so bring them in as roasters. Tell me more about like the mission of the coffee shop.
Yeah, totally. So everything we do with People Loving Nashville is navigated by these three things. We listen to the cries of the streets. Like, what are they actually crying for? Like those that are suffering, what are they asking for? What are their desires? Okay. We listen to that. And in order to be able to do that, we have to be close enough. You have to be there, right? We can't just read it on Instagram or on the internet. Like, we have to be there listening to our people. We listen to our neighbors that are crying out, this is what I need. We apply our values. Our values at People Loving Nashville is biblically based. So we go to the Bible and we're like, what does the Bible say about these cries? How are we to respond? Because we had good ideas and we still do, but sometimes we're like, okay, those are just good ideas. The Bible for us is tried and true. It's like, it's been there and it will be there, for eternity in our belief. And so we want to ascribe to something that's better and bigger than us. So that's why we bring the scriptures into it. And then we say, what do we have in our hands? Like, the scriptures will give us that direction of like, what do I have in my hands? What skills and experience and resources do I have here, and how can I steward that best? Okay. So that's our three things. Listen to the cries. What does the scriptures say? And then what do we have in our hands? So we started with just food and drink, and then we added clothing quickly. We realized that the streets were saying, hey, it's just great you're bringing food, but can you sit down with me for a second? And so we sat down with our friends and neighbors and say like, hey man, what's going on? I remember my friend Mike early on was like, sit down, shut up. Like, don't just be here and just like give me food and be like, oh, go off on and march off and be like, I was a good Christian today. Like, sit down. I want to tell you some things. He taught me the streets. He taught me about culture, taught me about his history. And again, not every story is the same. I learned that like hardcore first few months of doing this. Like, sit down, son. It was so awesome. So I sat down, listened, and he's like, we don't just survive off of food and clothing, like community, like actual real good community. Because the streets is hard, man. Like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It's really tough out there. Now there's some really great camaraderie, but there's also a lot of danger. Okay, so community was the next thing. And then we're like, okay, we're becoming very close friends with some of our folks. And some of our folks are dying on the streets, literally dying. Jeez. And we're like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We got to get people off the streets. And so we fundraised and said, hey, community, can you get behind us so we can actually walk with people off the streets into housing? So we created our home fullness program out of that. Now, once people were getting off the streets, it was awesome. But then we had some friends that would come back a year later and say, I couldn't make it. And we're like, what happened? I need a place to work and I need a place to heal. That's what's happening. We're hearing that. Like, I need a place to be that's not just like behind a closed door. So like, okay. And we realized, again, it comes back to community in that. That's we're very communal at People Loving Nashville. So we listen and we're like, all right, what does the scripture say? The scriptures, there's a prophecy in Isaiah 61. Sorry, I'm getting a little biblical here.
Let's go, please.
But it says that those who once suffered will rebuild their city from former devastations of their ancestors. And I was like, okay.
Whoa.
And we read that and we're like, how does that speak to the cry of like, I need a place to work and I need a place to heal? Those are people who are saying, I want to rebuild things. I just need a place to do that, a healthy place to do that. So we said, all right, let's start a business. It sounds like a company. And I was roasting coffee in my garage, like a quarter pound at a time, like not professionally at all. This is like for myself and for brave friends that would drink my coffee. And I always loved coffee, and that's just like a part of the culture for sure. But like, it was a really beautiful thing because one of our staff members also was thinking about starting a coffee company. Long story short, we're like, let's just do this. So we fundraised for a coffee roaster. And we first started just like roasting coffee in a really small room and then sending it to your house. You're like, and it was a subscription based kind of thing. And that grew. And then we had an opportunity to take over a coffee shop. And so we bought into that. And now we're at Paradeisos. So as of April of 2025 is 1 year.
Wow.
So we're still really young. You know, learning as we go in that too. Like building a coffee company is something.
Bro.
That's something.
Yeah. That's something.
Yeah, man.
How many people are involved? You said 5 are involved with the coffee company?
Yeah, so like the people in the program.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of people in the program,
Yeah.
but we can only afford about 4 to 6 people in the roastery at the same time.
That's a lot to support.
Yeah. But there's
livelihood.
a program around it. Like we really
Yeah.
focus on like mind and body and soul healing, community too, like making sure like there's opportunities for good community. Sometimes it just looks like, hey, we're going to grab a few volunteers and be like, hey, you want to just create a text group and we'll hang out once in a while. It's like, yeah. And that's part of what we do. Or we'll host like, we have a volunteer who's like a yoga instructor. He's like, oh, I'll do yoga every summer. So we do like group yoga things and like all kinds of stuff. And some, yeah.
When you're talking about at the very beginning about how, instead of letting people go, just working through it and kind of loving people through it and figuring it out, like my mind immediately went to this, because if you're called to love people and to take care of them and to help them out of it, and you're dealing with people that have trauma and you're dealing with people that might not be easy to work with and might not listen to what you're saying, like that just takes an extraordinary amount of love to stick with it.
Sure.
And so what God was preparing you to do in those early seasons,
that's awesome.
it's just
you noticed that. That's
crazy.
Awesome that you noticed that, because that was very foundational. And it, I think we reach back, and I think Toby would probably identify with this too, is that I think him, and then even me as well, I'm very attuned to like how much grace that I've been given and opportunity that I've been given. So how could I withhold that from somebody else?
Yeah.
But yes, it does take a massive amount of patience.
Yeah.
I mean, just as much the patience that was needed to give to me, for sure, if not more, with me. But when you're in tune with that, you're like, I know how much grace I've been given. I must give that. I must give that out. Because like, how could we withhold that? Like, that's unfair. Yeah. You're talking about like injustice. Like, that's very unjust to not give the mercy and grace that you've been given. Anyway, sorry.
Come on.
That's a little deep
I love that
there.
so much.
Deep thoughts.
Wow.
Gigs podcast.
I love that. It's beautiful too to again remain grounded in the core values. And so if you're getting you're not corporatizing it, but you're getting more structure in it.
Yeah.
Team of 15. I mean, that's a very substantial nonprofit there.
It feels, it's awesome.
That everyone can be on the same page no matter what. Yeah. I think it's cool that at the beginning you expected a lot out of people. It's kind of like Startup World. Like you expect a lot of then they put in so much time and then feels like they're a part of it. They're owning it.
They're building it, man. Totally.
Which they are.
And I would say that like, earlier we were talking about like, oh wow, every single Monday. Believe me, Nikki, like early on, I was like, we need to take a break.
Right.
I was like, we need to like rest. And the community would say no. Yeah, whoa. Because what we were hearing from the streets is Monday nights is the most common thing I can count on in my life. We're like, what? They're like, no, there's nothing else I can count on other than you guys being here downtown 7:00 every Monday. That's the most common thing that happens in my life.
Oh my gosh.
So our community held that up. That was not me. I was saying we need to take a break. Let me just go on record about that. The community said, no, we need to stay steady. And there was key people, like my sister Colleen is a very key employee here at People Living Nashville. She was there early on. And she was like, no, let's keep coming. Let's keep showing up. Even when it's really hard, when it's snowing and it's Christmas. Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh. But that's become some of the most special Mondays is Christmas. Yeah. The weirdest one is Halloween.
Yeah, man.
It's just weird.
I hate that holiday.
It's never like, wow, that was a fun Halloween. It was always like, oh, this is weird. I'm glad this only happens every 4 years.
Yeah, right.
Whatever, how many years.
However many years.
Yeah.
That's, so, and being consistent. Yeah. You are not only, you're showing up with resources and community, but the part where you're saying you were listening and you're sitting down and that's what they're needing too. I'm just seeing like a podcast in your future of why not sit down and listen to these stories.
Totally.
Share these stories.
Gosh, yes. We've wanted to do that so many times and it's like we've recorded out of Paradeisos. That's a great idea. We've thought about it and we just need to sit down and just do it.
Well, it's compassion. I think that there's this place of some people just might be fearful of not really understanding a world that they're not in or a world that they don't know. And so everyone has that story. Everyone has that story.
And everybody's got that story. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the ones that we get from the streets are just so wild. So inspiring too. Yeah. The resilience and creativity of surviving the streets. Yeah. Is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Makes you wonder when you get upset about certain things. It's like, my God, reality check.
And that was what it was for me. Every Monday was helpful. Like, you know, you do a full, weekends of shows, and you're like, okay, you know, and I would do that Monday night and go serve and hang out with my friends. It was like, I would get recalibrated with like reality.
Yeah.
It was key for me as a young person too. In my 20s, you need that. Because again, I was becoming the, big bag tour manager. Totally.
No rules. Everything's free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, eating 4 meals a day.
Entitled to like, you didn't get the writer right and how to, yeah.
And then being in a tour manager, even front of house too, man, like you get tempted to be like God complex stuff. Let's just call it, man. Like, it's very hard work, hard work touring. But like when you think about like on a tour manager, like they, for the most part, other than the artist or whoever management, what you say goes.
Right.
And that's dangerous, man. Like I think I was handed the scepter a little early in life.
Interesting.
As a 20-something-year-old.
Right.
Ooh, I wouldn't have trusted. I told Toby that. I was like, I would have not trusted me with this. And he's like, come on, man. And I'm serious. I was like, that's a lot of responsibility to give to a young person.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But
yeah, to have something that grounds you.
Yes.
Whether that's family or it's this.
Totally. Or people
man.
around.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was Jamaicans.
It was what?
Jamaicans. I'm not joking. So Gabe, I mentioned Gabe. Like Gabe was like right hand to Toby, and then I was tour manager. So it was like the kind of the trifecta, if you want to say.
Uh-huh.
And he passed from cancer a little while back, and it's super sad still. But I miss him dearly. He was one of my best friends in the whole world. But man, I say Jamaicans because most Jamaicans that I know, they cannot help but to tell the truth.
Okay.
In like just a zzz. Like, don't ask him if these jeans make you look fat. Don't ask unless you want to know. They'll be like, yeah, man, totally. And Toby's wife is a Jamaican too. Both of them, man. They just oh my gosh, the first show that she came to that I was mixing, she came running. She hate me for saying this. She came down the front of the house, just walked in, and she's like, this song should not have this much bass, man. I remember that. It was a song called City on Our Knees, and I was like, I looked at her like, hi. She's like, too much bass. This song does not need this much bass. And that's a terrible Jamaican accent. Sorry, Jamaicans
no, keep
out
going.
there.
Yeah.
But she was like, she said that, and I looked at her and I went, you're right. There's way too much bass in this song.
Dang.
I know she was right. I was like, I was humbled in that moment. Why are we talking about this? Jamaica. Oh yes, calibration to like truth in life. Like,
let's bring some more of that
we need people in our life like Jamaicans. I say that to my friends sometimes. I'm like, you need to go find a Jamaican. I don't know why it's Jamaicans, but that in my life they've just like the truth tellers.
Yeah. What about American culture where we're just like, maybe it's Southern too, from like,
sure, bless your heart.
Bless you. Yeah, it's too scared to make anyone uncomfortable. It's
Totally.
like. Yeah. But if you tell it as it is, that's also loving someone.
It's so mean. Like, Nick, if you had chocolate on your face this whole time, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, no.
That's mean.
Yeah, right?
Something in your teeth.
Totally.
That's mean.
Yes, I would. Do I? We're good?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. Yeah. We literally could just, I didn't even look at the cards, but I want to do some rapid fire with you. Well, actually, it's funny because these aren't even rapid fire because some of them are really deep, but it's just questions. Okay.
I'll try.
Do you remember one of the most meaningful Monday nights that you've ever had?
Lots are coming to mind. The first one that comes to mind is, again, it's like a trial through a bit of discomfort and pain. It was a guy who became my friend. His name was Jay, but I didn't know him at the time. I used to walk the line, the food line, as we were waiting for food, to shake everybody's hand. I'd say, hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And shake everybody's hand. And I came to Jay and I said, good to see you. And he said, it's good to see me? And I said, yeah, it's good to see you. And he's like, it's good to see me standing in line for free food in the cold. It's good to see me out here. Yeah, I bet it's good to see me. He said, move along. He didn't shake my hand. And I was like, I was so stunned. But that was a gift. It was a gift, man. He humbled me in that moment of like, what am I saying? I'm just saying stuff. I'm just saying good to see you. Do I mean that? I mean, how can I say that to 300 people? Good to see you. And it reset me. It was a gift. So he became a friend. Man, he should be Jamaican. I don't think he was, but he might as well been.
Damn.
And he hit me so hard with that. And he became that friend for me. But that was really memorable. That was just like shift. And I shifted it to, you made it.
Ooh.
It was wild because that got said to me. This is a funny story. I went and visited a church, and we had young kids at the time. We still have young kids around, but they were like tiny. And they're like, just like we're visiting a friend's church, and it was just like it was a terrible morning. Like we couldn't get everybody ready. I think I skipped a shower, and I'm just like have kids on top of me, and I'm like, I don't even want to be here right now. And I walk in the doors and somebody said, "Hey, you made it." And I almost started crying. I was like, I did make it. You see me. And I was like, he probably just says that to everybody. But then I brought that to the streets, and it meant something because I saw him. I said, you walked a few miles to get here and you made it. And it was a notable moment of like, I did, and I've made it to this moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that was pivotal for me.
And it's like recognizing them, and they're like,
yeah.
Hey, they did it.
Totally.
They maybe set out to do what they said they were going to do in the morning.
Totally.
And you have no idea what that can hit. Like that person had no idea what went on in your head when you said that.
Totally.
And yeah, it's not good. Oh, it's good to see me. Well, I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
This isn't the life I want.
Yeah. Don't take a picture of me. Because like I can say that about everybody in this room right now.
Yeah.
I can say about you, like, hey, you made it.
Oh, yeah. Don't even say that right now.
I know.
I am going to cry.
Really like,
yeah.
But think about that. Like you're on a podcast right now. You're hosting a thing, and it's very successful. Hey, you made it. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are we acknowledging that in ourselves? Can we acknowledge that in each other?
Yeah.
Like that hits a part of our souls. It's like, oh, you're like, don't touch that right now. I got cameras rolling.
No,
got
straight
makeup
up.
going
I
on.
feel like we're all just hanging on by a string.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
In the right time. Let's find more times to be like, hey, dude, you made it.
I love that.
You made it. Yeah,
That's so special. Wow. Yeah. Do you have a certain Bible verse or somewhere in Scripture that you refer to a lot or that you live by?
It changes by season.
Yeah.
Like People Living Nashville was founded on Matthew 25. Feed those that are hungry, or give food to those that are hungry, give drink to those that are thirsty, and clothing to those that need clothing. Or it says like give clothing to those that are naked. But I mean, we see some naked people down on Monday nights for sure. Let me tell you. But most of the time it's
Halloween.
just ragged clothing. Yes, on Halloween for sure. And then we built on top of that. We were like, okay, the community part. Like, how do we apply Scripture to that? Romans 12:15 is weep with those that are weeping and rejoice with those that are rejoicing. And we kind of get a little extra scriptural, and we'll say like, or just have a Monday with those that are having Monday.
Oof.
He's like, weep with those that are weeping, rejoice with those that are rejoicing. That's extremes of life. But the essence of the Scripture is like, don't be a bull in a china shop. Like, be present. Can I just have a Monday with you?
Wow.
Because like, I think the people that we're serving, like, don't treat me like a zoo animal right now. Like, I'm just a person just like you. And it's like, okay, you're right. Like I have come to serve, but it's also you're a brother or a sister. You're a neighbor. We say that a lot. You're a neighbor. Like you live down the street.
It's true.
And there's a lot of difference between me and you.
Yeah.
I have a house and you don't. I have some stability, and some parts of your life are not as stable. You have resilience that I could never touch. You have creativity that I could never touch. There's things that we can learn from each other and do this life together. So love your brothers yourself, Mark 12:31. Like that was a big one. And then Isaiah 61. So that's what like the organization is founded on. I tie to those a lot. I'm thinking about like Hebrews 12:1, like let us run this race.
Man.
Cut off like anything that hinders us. And I think it's talking about like sin, but like I think about all these things that like bad mentalities and philosophies that could be relatively sinful. I'm like, I want to cut those things off. I want to run this race looking to Jesus as like our perfecter of our faith. I'm like, that's a cool thought. Like looking to something that's bigger than me instead of like, I'm going to find it within myself. I mean, that's only going to get me so far. Find it within myself. As opposed to like, I'm going to look to something and ascribe to something bigger than me. I'd rather do that.
Come on.
Yeah, man.
Gosh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
One that got me last year that has sustained, and it's still the one until you get that next one, whatever season. And I feel like I've been in a season of fear for a while, just because like, what if this fails? What if I can't pay people?
Yeah.
Like all that just horrible demon talk.
Sure.
And Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you.
Yeah.
Do not be dismayed, for I am your God.
Yeah.
I will help you.
Yeah.
I will strengthen you with my righteous right hand. Anyways.
Yeah. How fatherly.
Almost every morning, truly, I'm like,
bring it, man.
He's got me.
Yes.
Anyways, What is one thing you miss about tour life?
It's the people.
Yeah.
The late nights in the front lounge. Like I keep talking about Toby and Gabe. Man, we would stay up so late. And if you threw Toby's manager, Dan Pitts, into that, 4 a.m. easy. Like we would get on the bus and be like, oh crap, you're riding tonight. Nobody's sleeping.
No.
That's what I miss. We would laugh so hard, and we'd talk so deep. We just dive right in. I miss that. I do miss that excitement about the show. It's so like addictive. Just house lights off. You can't replace that. Like that's a tough thing to replace.
Right.
Thousands of people like on a dime. Everybody's and so excited. Like we're here. Let's go. And it's like, man, you can't.
We made it.
We made it. Exactly. Yeah.
Dang. Well,
I miss that a lot.
Do you see it in your future of some like helping with some shows here and there?
I do. I help with shows like
okay.
Me and my wife, we got asked to go to South Africa. Well, I guess it was a little while ago, but like I was off the road and I felt like God was saying, you're going to Africa. And I was like, okay. So we called our friends or her friends that were like, hey, if we're going to bring a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old to Africa, what should we look for? And they're like, okay, do these things. And like, if you know anybody that knows how to produce a concert or produce an event and like help with technical stuff, let us know. Cause we need that for a very large youth conference. And I was like, do they know what I do? And like, she's like, no. I was like, I should tell them. So we called them back and told them, there was that. And then, and I pop out. Like I helped the church, pulled together their front of house console. They got a new console and their live stream. I mix at church.
Oh, nice. That's
Christy.
great.
Who did she say? We were listening to somebody and I was just jamming in the car. Oh, it was Foo Fighters. She was like, if Foo Fighters called right now and said you need to do a 3-month tour, would you go? And I was like, oof, that's hard. I mean, it would be so awesome to travel with Foo and like just I remember I went to a Foo Fighters concert recently, or like I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago. It was blistering loud and it was perfect. I just love
blistering loud.
Blistering. Like Dave's voice was loud as snot, and I was like, "This is what I've come for." Like it hit me in the face like a ton of bricks. Not like shrill, but loud. And then guitars and drums, and I was like, "Oh, that would be such a dream." Toby had some rock stuff, and I really indulged sometimes. I was like, I'm gonna make this painfully loud just for one song.
Yes.
But like, I would love that.
What joy! Yeah, that was
just
actually
creating
my
the
next
moment.
question.
It's really it's the moments. Like I love creating moments through mixing. It's so fun. And I would watch people. Like when I mix, I like pick people out in the crowd and I watch. And I'm like, I'm mixing for that person, that person, that person, and I watch them respond to things that I'll do. And if they're like getting into it, I'm like, yes.
No way.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool.
It's so fun to do it that way. We're like, I'm doing this with, and they have no idea that I'm mixing to them.
Oh my gosh.
The first time I did it was House of Blues, Chicago. And I saw this dad with a kid on his shoulders. And it was like when I had a young kid, but very young. Like this kid was like maybe 7. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that with my kid.
Oh.
Like bring him to a concert and be like, yes, they were singing the lyrics at the same time. I was like, that's it. And I remember watching him. I was like, I want to create that moment. I'm mixing for those 2 people and those 2 people alone.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was so
I've never
fun.
heard that before.
And if you do that in church, that's helpful too, because you're like, I'm getting too loud, or you know.
And then the hands go up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The hands go up.
Like I did my job.
Yeah, I did it, man. Yeah.
Wow. I literally have a million more questions, but we're literally almost out of time. I can't believe this. Okay. I guess to just close. What's actually best advice that you've ever received or given regarding obedience and your calling?
Gosh, that's a monster question.
That is a really rapid fire. Go.
Best advice around obedience
and following your calling.
Oh gosh. Okay. I used to hate that word calling. I thought it was like an empty word. I did. And then now I have a new relationship to it. Like honestly, this year. I'm trying to think of like advice and obedience and calling. Like, oh my gosh, that's such a monster question. I think about early on like when I literally felt this calling in my heart and I was afraid, but I never said it out loud. I'm scared. Okay. And years went along. Sorry, it's a little bit longer rapid fire,
this.
but like I never said it out loud. I'm scared. And then a few years went along, and then this guy named George Landau came into my life. It was through my other friend Nathan Lee, and we would sit at a table every week and just share. Because my buddy Nathan Lee started an organization called Send Musicians to Prison, and he brings like bands into that'd be a fun podcast. But
yeah, man.
He brings bands music into prison.
Wow.
And we would sit because we would be going through tough stuff, like running small nonprofits, and we were doing just work on the streets, and I would go with him into the jails, and like maximum security was sometimes would get a little gnarly. Yeah. And like, but on the streets, and this is getting to advice. So
I love this.
So it gets like, there was one night on the streets, there was a guy that threatened me in front of the entire crowd. I was going to pray for the food, and he threatened me in front of the entire crowd. And I was like, uh-oh, like we're kind of in a weird place. And I didn't know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
And I brought it to that circle, and I looked at George, and I was like, man, I told him the story, and he's like, stand up, son. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. So I stood up, and he just looked me in the eyes, and he said, what did you come to do? And I said, he said, Ryan, what did you come to do? And I was like, and he took a step closer, and he said, what did you come to do? And I thought, just tell me what you want me to say. Like, I don't know. This is so tense, you know? And he's like, Ryan, what did you come to do? He kept asking me, like, Good Will Hunting style. Right. What did you come to do? And I was like, food for the hungry, drink to the thirsty, clothing to those in need clothing. He said, Ryan, what did you come to do? And I said it like 3 times over. And I was like, and he said, do it. Then go do it. And I thought, this is hard right now. What about this? What about that? What about this? And he said, what did you come to do? What did you come to do? And I thought, gosh, man, okay. It was so jarring and hard because I was like, you're not listening to my fear right now. And looking back on that, I never said I was afraid. I never said I was afraid. I never said it out loud. I never said, I'm scared, George. I never said that. And I look back. So there's 2 things in here. It's like one piece of advice that George gave me in that thing is like, what did you, it's in a form of a question. What did you come to do? And like, it's a calibrating moment. What did I come to do? On the road, I think about it all the time. Everything that I'm even in fatherhood or being a husband, what did I come to do? And if I'm like, I don't know, okay, there's a place to start. But this is another thing George told me. If you don't know, it's okay to not know, is what he said. But it's not okay if you don't know that you don't know. I'll say it again. It's okay to not know. You have permission to not know. But if you don't know that you don't know, it's dangerous.
Woo!
Okay, so that was a huge piece of advice in the midst of the same season. Because I was like, do I know what I came to do? Because if I'm not in tune with that, I'm just kind of swinging my sword with my eyes closed. Yeah. I might hit somebody or hurt somebody, right? Or myself.
Or someone's words could tear you down.
Totally. Or just like, and they will. If you don't know what you come to do, the slightest thing will knock you over. And you're like, and it takes a long time to get up until you're like, wait, what did I come to do? I know what I came to do. And I'll tell you this, there's room to grow in that. You might say, I came to do this. And at the time it was like food and drink and clothing. Okay. And now it's food, drink and clothing and community. And then it also is now let's get you off the streets. And then now let's give you a chance to rebuild your life. And the whole, part of the idea, the vision of that is that people would find purpose, peace, and rest. That's the hopes of that. Go through this journey, find purpose, peace, and rest. And it's a beautiful thing. Now I'll ascribe to that. What are we trying to do? Because you're going to hit a storm, man. People are going to say stuff. Bad things are going to happen. If you're on the road, truck's not going to show up. What did you come to do? We came to do a concert. Okay, do a concert. Did you come here to just not try to pull this thing together? No, I came to do a concert. Well, stand up and go do it. Man, Toby hit me with that a few times.
What did you come here to do? And
it's okay to not know. Oh yeah, that too.
And it's okay to not know. Yeah. Golly, I'm leaving with so many bits. And I think
you made it.
Like it's all, this is all for anywhere in life.
Anywhere, totally. Yes.
What did you come here to do?
Yeah.
What are you here to do?
Yeah. What are you here to do?
It's beautiful.
And it's okay to be like, I don't know. Great. Start there.
Yes.
Start there.
Yeah.
Find a Jamaican and then have him say, you know what you should do, man. Or you know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, like and have people draw that out of you. Sorry. We're starting a whole nother chapter of this podcast.
We're just gonna have a part 2. You're gonna have to come back because this was so awesome. And thank you, Ryan. You're the best.
Fun.
And how can people follow People Loving Nashville?
Yeah, just go to peoplelovingnashville.com. We're on Instagram as well, Facebook, all of that. We got tons of fun events. It's a very communal thing. And again, I know there's a lot of roadies that are listening. So come on a Monday. It's easy. You just sign up and show up. It's easy. It's a few hours. And there's a ton of people that are like from the touring industry, or like they're very friendly. And you'll fit right in.
We'll do some gigs hangs after.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So we'll talk.
Let's do that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.